obviously you watch Bruce Lee movies.
Heck yeah, he watched Bruce Lee movies.
So if I say the name Ip Man, does that mean anything to you?
Sort of. I'm familiar with it. It's on one of those ones I've always wanted to watch because I hear it's really
No, no,
good.
not. But that's a person.
Oh no, I didn't know it was a person. I knew it was a movie. There's like five of them.
咏春、叶问。
Four. There's four of them.
Oh,
Um,
close.
but it's based on it's a biographical martial arts film, which is based on Ip. It's based on the life of Ip Man.
Is his
So
name
Ip
Ip
Man
Man?
is his name is Ip Man. He's a grandmaster of the martial art Wing Chun, and he's the teacher of martial artist legend Bruce Lee. So
Oh.
all those badass moves that you see him doing are a result of Ip Man teaching him. He's very famous,
Huh.
very famous.
And he's
Um,
Japanese, you said, not
not
Chinese.
Japanese. He's
He's
Chinese.
Chinese. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Um, so this movie, the languages are Cantonese, Mandarin, and Japanese.
Ah.
Um, and it the movie basically the movie it starts in 1935, and it takes place in Foshan, which is a hub of Southern Chinese martial arts, and you see basically um, uh, Ip Man. He's a well respected master. He's very very good at martial arts.
Wait, so
And this
is
one
his name actually Ip Man or is it IP Man?
no, it's technically it's Whip like with a W,
Oh,
Whip Man, but it's pronounced Ip Man.
gotcha.
Um, as I understand it, or Yip, sorry, Grandmaster Yip Man, Yip YIP,
Ah.
but it's pronounced Ip, as I understand it. Anyway, um, um, over the course of the movie, it takes place during, yeah, like I said, 1935, like at the height of the Second Sino-Japanese War.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my thing went backwards. Yeah, during the second Sino Sino Japanese War, um, Ip and his family are forced to move into a decrepit apartment out of their mansion because the Imperial Japanese Army confiscates his house to use as
Huh.
military headquarters. Then him and his family are on hard times, so Ip finds work in a coal mine. And then a Japanese general who's a Japanese karate master, he basically sets up an arena where Chinese martial artists can fight with his military trainees to earn rice because the Japanese have come in and taken all of their rice and everyone's starving. And one of Ip's friends or colleagues or whatever, friend I think it is, family member. This is where it being in a different language and in subtitles, some of it gets a little lost on me.
Yeah, no
But
fair. I get that.
um, what I can say is someone who is important to Ip decides to go and fight in this arena, and he is he gives up basically. He surrenders during this one fight where it's three Japanese fighters versus him. And this fellow, Lin, goes to collect a bag of rice that he had already won. And the general's second in command or something, someone who is slightly less important than him, shoots Lin. And Ip sees this, or Ip figures out or discovers this, or something to that effect, and is pissed, like super upset. And so then he's like, "Let me in. I want to fight." And he's like, 10 fighters against me right now." And Oh, when I say it is like one of the best choreographed fight scenes. I'm actually am inclined after we get off air, and I encourage you if you can to put it here, for future Justin. But when I say it like oh, like there's parts where like he's like elbowing down on like limb joints and you see them bend backwards the other way and it is just like I'm watching this or like there's a point where like near the end where there's the Japanese guy on the ground below him and he's like right into his face like and his fists come away bloody
That sounds
and it's
badass.
like knowing it is but knowing that it's like I don't know how accurate it is to real life but knowing that it's based on a real person
Right?
like just makes it more impressive. And knowing that there's like yeah, three other of these movies. Uh oh, hi hi Luke.
Hi, Luke.
Luke and Liz say hi. Keep it up, chaps.
Hi,
Hi.
Luke.
Um did not expect that. Sorry. Derailing. Uh the kung fu, the fighting in this is very good. And so then
I've always wanted to watch it. I heard it's really
after
good.
it is, and it's one of those ones where you know how like when we watched Godzilla -1, like there's a certain point where like you're so enwrapped in it that you kind of forget that it's in subtitles.
It passes the phone test.
It did at a certain point.
Yeah.
Like the beginning parts of it are a little slow, and the lead in to the fight scenes. But like when the fight scenes are going, I am in it, man. Like I am enjoying my time watching
I
it.
am in
It's a
it.
thing that transcends language.
I'm in it to win
Um,
it.
and then there's a later on, um, uh, the uh, the Japanese karate master wants to fight Ip, and Ip, from what I remember, Ip tries to go into hiding or tries to. He's training, or that's what it is. A guy that he fought earlier in the movie is harassing um, workers and stuff that he knows, so he starts training them so they can defend themselves. And then he ends up getting taken to fight the Japanese general, and the Japanese general's like subordinate is basically like, "Yeah, you better lose. If you win, I'm gonna shoot you."
I'm just gonna
And
shoot you.
and and and
Keep it, Jordan. I'm gonna kiss you by shooting you. That's
with my bullet,
keep it simple, stupid. By shooting him.
um,
Keeping it simple, Jordan.
and because you know, obviously, the Japanese who were you know live taking over and stuff
Yeah.
at in this, um,
Not good
they didn't
guys.
want they didn't want the well more just they didn't want the Chinese to see that they could fight back and win.
True. This is true.
Um, and but it wins and then gets shot in the shoulder and then all the Japanese or all the Chinese people like rise up against the Japanese ones that are there and it escapes to live another day and then that's where the final moments of the movie are they have the text over the screen like this is what happened to the person later on and it talks about how Ip yeah he later founded basically a wing of kung fu where he
Rad.
trained Bruce Lee and there's two more movies, three sorry, up to four movies, and I I'd like to watch them. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we might have to come back to Kung Fu because yeah, Jordan, is that it?
Yeah, I like I said, I'm probably gonna see if I can just show just like you, Justin, specifically, if I can show you that one fight scene
It's funny you say
because
that.
it's pretty rad.
So okay, so our final movie of the afternoon of the show. Um, so okay, there's certain times when people tell you about movies where they describe it as being the greatest of all time, and you're always like, I hate that.
Sorry, real quick. So apparently, I'm just reading a little bit about the choreography for that movie. Um, Apparently, Japanese actor Hiroyuki Ikiuchi, who holds a black belt in judo, found it difficult working under Hung's command. In one scene, he suffered a mild concussion after receiving 4 consecutive blows.
Oof.
Wow.
Anyway, so
That
yeah.
just that just tells you how intense it was. Sorry, go on.
There's a certain movies that people are like, oh, this is like the greatest of all time. Where you're like, nah, there's no way it could be that good. So, Jordan, I watched a movie called The Raid Redemption. And it's an Indonesian movie about a group of police officers, who are raiding. Oh, you know what? I can do this better. You remember that Judge Dredd movie with Carl Urban?
Yeah.
It's kind of that. It's that movie. It's the plot.
Oh,
So there's a apartment building where there's a gangster who's at the top of it, and there's a group of
okay.
policemen who are entering from the bottom, and they're trying to get the bad guy at the top. Uh,
Okay, so it is the Judge Dredd I'm thinking of. Okay, good.
yeah, it's basically that. And the first it's like you said with the Yip Man, where it's sort of slow at first. Like I saw stuff that declared it the greatest action movie, one of the greatest action movies ever made. And like the first little bit of it is they've got guns and it's all right. They're really coordinated, but it's not really all that like it's all right. Like it's not blowing my mind. It's not doing anything exceptionally interesting with gunfights. I'm like it's okay.
Yeah.
And then about midway, he loses his guns and it becomes hand to hand. And Jordan, when I tell you, it is some of the greatest hand to hand combat I have ever seen in a movie. When you're like, oh, I want to show you the scene, I'm kind of the same way because it's incredible. Like he got police batons and just. He fights off like 6 guys, and it's some of the most brutal, violent, harsh hand-to-hand combat I've ever seen. It looks incredible. This guy, I'm like, man, he needs to be in more stuff. Like, let who's ever making these movies do Marvel movies, because this looks incredible. Like, it looks incredible, and much like you're like, there's a sequel to this, and I want to do martial arts movies again because I need to see the sequel to this movie. Because if people say it's better than this one, I don't know how that's possible. This movie's really good. Like it's really
Yeah, well
good.
that's where I'm like, because so apparently with this one is the last movie made by a studio called Mandarin Films or something like
Uh,
that. So I'm like, I don't know if the second one is as good because it must be from a different studio,
yeah,
right? But
everyone
like,
says the second one is super good, and I'm like, this first one's so good. Like to the point that okay, so I would never full bore recommend this, but in this specific case, I'm going to. I watched there's an English dub, um, and the movie is originally in Indonesian. I don't know what their language is, but I'm gonna call it Indonesian because I don't know what it's actually called. And it was like a hard language for me to listen to, and it made the movie something that I think I watched the first like 10 minutes of it originally, and I just couldn't get into it. So I watched the dub, and I thought the dub was all right. I didn't think it was like didn't like blow my mind or anything, but I didn't think it was terrible. So I'm gonna full bore recommend this movie and tell you that you will love this movie. It's exactly like in your wheelhouse. but like you should maybe consider watching the dub, because I don't think the plot is deep enough, and that the English dub is like ruining it by being a little goofy or being a little stilted. And you will absolutely love this movie, like legit. Like I think we'll have a moment once the show's done of like showing each other our scenes from this movie, because like I say, it is dope. Like it is like really well. Like there's like 3 to 4 exceptionally long. That's the one thing overall of this week, is all of these fight sequences like were like exceptionally long in a way that like wasn't boring. Like that never stopped being fun to watch or interesting or engaging, or like it, again, incredibly well made. Like just one of the best action movies I've ever seen in my life. Like no exaggeration. Like just really good.
So for the record, according to Google, Indonesians speak Bahasa Indonesia.
Bahasa Indonesia. Yeah, it was like, I don't know. It was just kind of I just couldn't get into it. I don't know why. But it's a really good movie. And yeah, if you want to watch it in its original language, you can. I watched the dub. And this is for Jordan and only for Jordan. This is not for the audience. Jordan, you should just watch the dub.
Okay.
When we do,
I respect that.
and I'm gonna find an excuse to do martial arts episodes again, so I can watch the sequel.
Hey everybody, it's Endcard Justin here again to ask you, what do you think? Have you seen The Raid Redemption or IP Man? And do you think they're as good as people say they are? Let me know down in the comments what you think, and as always, you can click the video on the left, and that's going to take you to the full podcast that this video is from, where we talked about all kinds of martial arts movies, or click the box on the right, and that's going to take you to a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy. Otherwise, hit subscribe if you haven't already, leave us a like, and we'll see you in the next video, everybody.